Hi, Vaqueros. This is really exciting. This is one of our first podcasts we're doing in person on campus at utrgv. Sadly, Jose couldn't join us in person, but that's fine. We have him virtually here, but I'm going to go ahead and introduce all of us here. This is one of the biggest, I think, podcasts we've ever done with gurus. So my name is Jerry Galindo. I am the host for this episode of the First Year Experience podcast, and I'm joined by Gerson Salinas, Neidye Rodriguez, Cynthia Saldivar, Jose Saldivar, Natasha Gonzalez, and Brianna Gonzalez, right? Yes.
Aaliyah!
Oh my God! Aaliyah Gonzalez. I'm so sorry, Aaliyah Gonzalez.
Please keep that in.
Too much is happening. But this is really exciting because this is one of our first podcasts we're doing in person on campus, like for the first ever time since I joined the podcast team almost a year ago last year. So I just want to start off with saying, how is everyone feeling? Are you excited? Does this give you a little preview of what's to come in the fall? We're not wearing masks. It's insane. What's going through y'all's heads?
It's crazy.
I'm super excited. I am ecstatic. Well, I'm meeting everybody for the first time, so that is awesome. But it also feels really good to be back in the office and kind of back in the groove of getting ready in the morning. And I feel I've been more productive today than any of the days that I've been at home.
Mm-hmm. I was telling Cynthia when we were coming over here how before I used to be on time to everything, and now I got so used to not having to be in person that everything was virtual. It's I could just hop on 10 minutes before, and now it's I have to get up, I have to get dressed, I have to drive to where we're going. So it's kind of crazy. It's I'm always late now.
Yeah.
And then Natasha and I drove an hour to get here because we're from Brownsville, so that was we have to get ready even earlier.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why we were 15 minutes late.
To me, y'all were perfectly on time. Not late at all. How are you all feeling? Me too. I know you all just came out of a class, right?
Yeah. The ceramics class. That's why my shirt's so dirty.
Yeah.
Which you can see now. It's not Zoom where I can hide it.
There's no virtual background.
Yeah, it's weird. It's interesting that we can make eye contact while we're talking, which is pretty crazy.
I know you were
super intense.
You were looking in my eyes, and I was I don't know how to.
It feels weird. I want to look away.
Well, Jose, and how do you feel being at home still virtually? Are you excited? Do you want to jump through your camera and join us?
I'm only virtual because my air conditioning went out this morning, so I'm waiting for the repairman. But I've been using that conference room for class. So I'm teaching summer 1, and so I've been using the conference room for class now for 3 days. And I love seeing students in person. I still have some on Zoom, but I'm excited and looking forward to the fall and just seeing more people in person. I met Aaliyah this morning for the first time, and I didn't know whether to hug her or handshake or fist bump. And so she just came in with the hug. So I was like, okay.
Yeah, I'm a hugger. I was but I don't know if is it okay? We're vaccinated, right?
It's you gotta ask her.
Yeah.
Anything other than a fist bump is weird.
Yeah.
It honestly is.
Did y'all ever remember when there were elbows? When that was a thing? And we were supposed to bump elbows and not fists? And sometimes I'm I don't know, are you feeling that? Or I'm not sure.
One time I fist bumped someone's elbow. And I just kept going. There's no stopping after.
You got too far. It was too far already.
Yeah.
I definitely think, I don't know about you all, and I don't want to confess something that none of y'all do, but I definitely do. But when I'm on Zoom, I actually most of the time look at myself. And I don't, I hardly ever actually, I look at y'all in the little cubes. But it's hard for me because I get really nervous through Zoom and I get scared of talking to people virtually. So now having to give eye contact and actually look at people, it's kind of weird. And it goes way beyond work. It's also in my social life too. I hardly ever talk face to face.
That's why I like for people to have their cameras on because then I can look at them. But sometimes I have these staff meetings and all the cameras are off and it's kind of irritating because it's I only see, and then you feel you're talking to yourself.
Yeah.
and it's like weird.
Right.
Yeah, no, I get that. But I do look at myself as well. But only, like, it just seems like the more I look at myself, I'm like, there's so much hair standing up. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh. And, like, I'm trying to fix it on camera, right? Like, right now, I can't look at myself, so I don't know if everything's okay. I get that.
I do it because I'm also scared that, like, I look horrible or, like, my cat's in the background and I'm like, oh my God, what's happening? But, so now we're talking about like transitioning in person into the fall, and that comes with one of the big milestones that I think FYE is hitting right now, and it's in-person office hours. So Cynthia,
You're like looking at me.
I'm Cynthia. I don't know.
Making eye contact.
Making eye contact, and I can't just turn off
like I'm having connection issues.
So we are going to start doing a hybrid of in-person and virtual office hours starting in the summer. So we're starting with gurus that feel comfortable coming in person. And it could be, because we don't know how many students are going to be like on campus and ready to come. So if you're watching and you want to come, please do. But we're going to do, so like if Natasha is on the Brownsville campus and she wants to do her office hours on campus, she'll probably still have her Zoom up, but you can go in person and have an actual face-to-face conversation with Natasha when she's scheduled during that time. So it'll be kind of like a hybrid of both. So if you're not really ready to come on campus, you can still hop on our Zoom link and there will always be people there. But if you do want to do that in-person component, like reach out to us at FYE.utrgv.edu and we can get you that in-person appointment, or just show up and hopefully somebody's scheduled at that time. But we'll be sharing the schedule on our social media site so you'll know exactly when somebody is in person.
And what really, I guess we can cut this if you don't want to talk about it, but like what was the defining like moment that you were like, okay, now we can start doing this in person? Was it like the transitioning process that UTRGV is doing now?
It was a transitioning process, but for me, I wanted to start as soon as we could. I think Jose can jump in at any time. But I think what we learned during the pandemic with our first year students is that being virtual your first year on campus is really hard. And so as soon as we got the goal and like, you know, Dr. Bailey was like, we can start having employees come back on campus in June. I wanted to have that option open because I am old school, I'm old, right? But I like to have someone in front of me. I dread making phone calls. I dread Zoom meetings. If I could just go talk to you in person, I feel more comfortable. And I think with first year students that are navigating our system, even students that completed their first year and are going into their second year, there's still a lot that they're unfamiliar with. So I figured if there's a student like me out there that just wants to talk to someone in person, that the sooner we could get that to them, like the better. So that's when these conversations started.
Okay. Jose, do you want to add anything to that?
Absolutely everything that she said.
Okay. Perfect. So I also want to talk about an update on Jumpstart. So exactly how...
Loaded. You're just full of loaded.
I'm so sorry. I think my inner reporter is coming out, and I'm trying to like...
You said it was cool.
I'm trying to do...
So the way Jumpstart happens is if a student has not met the TSI requirements set by the state, then they do our Jumpstart Summer Bridge program, which means they do the developmental education program in the summer, and then that's tied to the fall class. So they get registered during orientation, because that's when, like, student, if you come to registration, like to orientation, you're telling us, yes, I'm going to be a UTRGV student. Mm-hmm. So when they come to orientation, we pre-register them into their classes. They sit down with an academic advisor. They pick out the rest of their schedule, and then they join us for the second summer session, which starts in July. If you happen to be watching this and you are a Jumpstart participant and you've already been registered, there is a scholarship that you need to accept, because the UTRGV is going to fully fund the tuition and fees for our Jumpstart students. They just need to go into assist and accept the scholarship. So we have about 608 students in Jumpstart right now.
That's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
It is. I'm excited, future Vaqueros, for you guys to come.
Only 150 of you have accepted your scholarship, so please accept your scholarship so that we can give you the money.
That's what me and Natasha keep talking about. Even in our What Are You Doing Wednesdays on Instagram Live, we're like, and I know, Natasha, you're a victim of it, but like you just get like lost in the confusion. You don't check your assist. You might like not be keeping up with the emails that like financial aid and your financial aid officers are letting you know that you qualify for it, and then you miss the deadline and you essentially miss free money.
Right.
You miss aid that like anyone could have gotten, but like you just didn't accept it. So I think that's like my biggest advice for first years is like reach out to your like financial aid officers, call U Central, and like see what you're qualified for and what you aren't, because more than likely you're probably qualified for that and you're not like accepting it. So there's scholarships out there. You just have to like make the effort to like look into them. Yeah.
Just be checking your assist all the time, because I feel like stuff just pops up. And you gotta be ready.
And then I get the Outlook email, like, revised financial aid notice. I'm like, oh, what's happening? And then, like, it's just nothing. Like, they changed my work study, like, amount. And I'm like, oh, that always happens.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's actually the only reason why I'm ever up to date is because of the Outlook emails. That's the only reason. Because if not, I don't check assist as frequently as I should, but I only check it when I receive an email. And that's, like, honestly, my best friend. Like, as soon as I see, like, Fin Aid, I'm like, So I think that's really important. I think that's like a great great advice to offer to incoming students, because as a freshman I never had my email linked, so I think that that's a good idea for them.
Oh, for sure. And Blackboard too, where it's like you just need to sign up for all the applications that you might use, because you might think like, oh, I never come across it, I don't need to check it, I don't even use it, and it's like, no, you're missing out on stuff, and it's really important.
I think with our in-person office hours and like just anything in general, students should have the Navigate app installed on their phone.
Yes.
They should have Campus Shield installed too. Like those are just things I recommend any like incoming student, second year student, even third or maybe senior student. It's not too late. Like these are apps that, you know, save you an hour long like wait on Facebook, like looking for answers like at 3 a.m. Like these are things that could be answered. And I'm totally calling myself out with that. Like I totally went on Facebook and just been like, I need help. Like anyone, and they're just like, call U Central, you psycho. Okay. But no, for sure. I'm excited. I'm excited for this upcoming fall. And I also just want to mention, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place, but like even though we're coming in person and with the new Greg Abbott stuff, where facial coverings not being required, UTRGV still highly encourages students to take the safety precautions of getting vaccinated first of all. That scared me. Did you sneeze?
No, I coughed.
Oh, good. Oh my God.
We're like, get vaccinated.
I know. The timing was like perfect. So he's not vaccinated. No, but we're all vaccinated here, like on the FYE team, and I think that's one of the biggest steps you can take before fall happens, and before honestly anything. Like even right now, UT Health, RGV, and everywhere else, like around the valley, are offering free vaccinations. But that's like your first step. Wearing your mask on campus, like highly, highly encouraged by everyone. Me especially. Like I'm like horrified that like fall's gonna happen and no one's gonna have masks on, and we're like, it doesn't matter anymore, Greg Abbott. But like I definitely think you should be wearing a mask, you should be taking the precautions possible, you should be, you know, hand sanitizing. I hand sanitize all the time, even when I open doors I get like kind of freaked out. So just take the CDC guidelines, take the community guidelines that UTRGV sets forth, and hopefully we'll all have a fantastic fall semester. And assist is often, students have been asking on the UTRGV students page why assist is asking if we're vaccinated or not, and it's just so that the UTRGV can take a ballot of like who's vaccinated, who's not, so that we can further see what classes we can offer in person, and like how many more classes that would have been asynchronous because no one got vaccinated, now we can start being more comfortable about doing traditional face-to-face classes. So, but as of right now, UTRGV isn't setting any kind of like, you know, prerequisite for vaccinations. It's not a thing. We're just highly hoping that like all of us can take the step of vaccinating just for the sake of vaccinating and keeping everyone else safe. Does anyone have any like comment to that or anything?
You did a fantastic
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was like, for sure. Look at how dry my hands are, everyone. Just from how much I sanitize. And yeah, well, Gerson and I have a ceramics class that is in person, and everybody so far has still been wearing their masks, with like the exception of like one student, but we don't have classes there anymore.
She's been dealt with.
It's like we They just separated our They separated our big class into two smaller groups. So we're like,
So she's not
we
our
just don't
problem.
have. We just don't have
Gerson's trying to say me.
Guys, please just wear a mask. Like, it really does. I don't know. I think it's one of those things where it's like, even if you don't care that much about it, like, just for the people around you, it really does make a difference. And yeah. I don't know if you guys ever look at people when they're talking and there's like a bunch of spit coming out. Sorry. But no. Well, it
But I am now.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where it can really lessen the intensity of, the problems that we're suffering with right now. And there's people that we all care about back home.
Yeah, I could just said it better. It's not about us, it's about our family, our grandparents, and the Valley predominantly is like one of the biggest, like, we are getting hit, we could get hit the hardest with this just because it's fact that we don't have the same resources as some of the other areas in Texas and in the country. So just get vaccinated, okay? I don't have to say it twice, but if I will, I will. So, but I also wanted to talk about, and I don't know if we can talk about this yet, but maybe we can do a little tease as next week, I believe we're going to start talking about our in-person orientations. That's exciting.
That is super exciting. And I love orientations, and it's funny, this is, the 5th year? I look at Jose because he's been around as long as I have. But I think this is like the 5th year that I've done summer orientations, and doing it virtual is great. Last year, we just did modules. We didn't even have the Zoom sessions. So at least this year we're doing virtual and we're doing Zoom, and that's great. But I'm excited about having an in-person with students on campus. I don't know, it's super exciting. They're going to be small because we are going to try to social distance. I think it's 3 feet now that we're trying to aim for. So it is going to be small. Again, face masks are not required. They're highly encouraged, and I'm pretty sure we will all be wearing face masks. So yeah, and that starts off June 11th, which is next Saturday. I keep wanting to say more, but I'm going to stop because we have them coming. So I don't want to keep talking about it.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
I'm really excited for that. I think I wanted to go and record and film the students and take photos, because it's I don't know, to me it's a really big monumental step. We saw last year orientations, everything happening virtually, and even now orientations are still for the most part happening virtually, but that's a big step to start having these students come back in person and seeing it's weird. We're gonna see campus life the way it's never been for the past year, because it's dead. It's dead. For the most part, it is really dead. So.
And excuse my social awkwardness because I'm learning how to be a person again. It's gonna be.
I think we all are. I think even all the students that come, we're all gonna be robots and kind of what is happening.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be really exciting. I can't wait. I can't imagine being a freshman, going through that. And that's why we always say our last year's freshmen are technically still freshmen now, because they never got that, true Vaquero experience of coming in person on campus and taking their face-to-face classes. So in a lot of ways, it's everyone's first day at UTRGV once orientations kick off in person and into the fall. So I'm really excited. I think, I keep saying that, I'm really excited. What's wrong with me? I'm just
It's just you're so excited! We are!
I'm looking forward to it. I want to get out of my apartment. I hate that place. I want to stop sleeping with my cats every night, and, cradling them in the morning. I want to come and be a person, be a human being.
The cats are please, get in-person orientation.
My cat this morning looked at me and was thank God I can have the apartment to myself. I was oh my God, I'm going to miss you, but not really. But I'm excited. Jose, you want to add anything on that? Are you excited?
He's not excited.
You can edit that out.
I'm excited to be on campus, and I'm excited to see students. I'm Like, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to a much more normal semester than we've had in a year. Yeah.
I'm very excited, but also not as excited because we're gonna be pulled apart in different directions for different events. Like our gurus, we're gonna be split, which is awesome for students because they're gonna have gurus in both Brownsville and Edinburgh. But for us, it's like I want to see my friends.
I agree, and I think I think it's really cool that you're going to record because I do agree it is monumental. I feel that when the pandemic happened, almost every piece or any part that was normal was stripped really quickly, and the steps to get back to normal have been super slow. So I think like this is the most monumental. And even though I am a graduate student, I was nervous to come on campus today. Like it felt like a first day for me. And I was like, I don't know where anything is at, even though I've been here. So I can't imagine what the students are feeling and the eagerness and even the little bit of anxiety they might have. But just for all the students, you're not alone. We have all been there and we're still there. Like we are in the same boat with you. We're just as excited and just as nervous as you are, and we're ready to make 2021 the year. So, yay!
I thought you were going to say great again. I was like, oh God. I was like, I don't that. I definitely, I spent so much time downstairs in the study room here at the Stack, and as a freshman, I was there all the time. As a sophomore, I was there all the time. And now, like, coming there now, I just get the memory. Like, I feel the memories that are just, like, gone already. Like, the year that's passed, like, it just feels like yesterday when I was there with my friends and we were all, like, on campus and it was packed and, like, we couldn't find a study room. And now the study rooms are all open and, like, no one's in there anymore. And it's, like, we used to fight to get into the study room. So it's crazy. I'm, like, I hope that comes back, and I hope we can all stay safe in the process with it.
I've been coming throughout the summer and throughout the spring to Edinburgh, and it's so quiet, and it's usually just Melissa, and I'll sit and I'll chat with Melissa, who's in the front. If you ever come, she's amazing. But like I was telling them, like I was walking in the hallway and I was hearing the voices and the laughter, and I like literally teared up because it'd been so long since even in that hallway that you like hear people and having fun, like, you know what I mean? It was like, to me, because everything has been so serious, and you can't tell people are smiling with masks, and so it's just like weird. But it was like I seriously teared up because I was like, wow.
Even on Zoom, you can't hear when everyone laughs at the same time because like all the mics cut out. And it's just like silence. You're like laughing by yourself. You're like, what's happening? Am I like gauging the virtual room right? But like, when we all laughed together, I was like, oh my God, like. It
crazy. Feels good, yeah. I usually mute myself when I'm laughing on Zoom because my laugh is like too, like, it is too crazy. Like, so I'm usually, let me mute myself, and I'm like, laughing on camera, but now I can't hide it, guys. You're going to get it all. Real and raw here.
Yeah, I don't have anything else, like, I specifically wanted to talk about. Next week, I guess housekeeping for next week, we're going to be talking to some of the orientation staff about transitioning in person, and all of our actually podcasts moving forward from this month into July into fall is all going to be geared towards just getting back in the groove of things, transitioning back to in person, since like we talked so much about last year transitioning virtually. Now we're coming back in person, so a lot of more podcasts coming. I said it in the last podcast, but like this is the start of the podcast for me. Like
I like the clap.
Yeah, I like the energy. Like I'm starting to say, like I feel like this is the true. Like I'm excited.
This is the true FYE podcast because I was included.
Episode 1.
I don't know. I just like it's been great talking about those topics on Zoom last year, but like I really like I'm very. I don't know what's in the air. I don't know what's in my body, but like I'm really excited.
It's
like,
the vaccine.
But like even yesterday, I edited, on Tuesday when we got back from Memorial Day, I edited the podcast and I was like, I'm excited. Like I feel like this is really the start of season 5. So thank you, Jose, so much for joining us this episode. Any closing thoughts you want to add about the podcast, about what's coming next?
Jerry, I just thought you were all in on like remote learning.
I used to be, not anymore.
That's old Jerry.
That's 2020 Jerry. I'm done. No, like I'm taking half my classes in fall are going to be virtual, but half of them are going to be in person. But I forgot really how important it felt to be in person again. Like, I don't know, I used to be introverted, or I still am introverted, but like, I really feel right now, like, this is what I need for my mental health. It's great to like be talking to you all. It's great to talk to Natasha, because like, this is the first time I'm seeing you.
Okay, we know there's a favorite in the room. Just say she's your favorite.
But yeah, no, I'm excited, and I want to go to Brownsville and like experience the campus over there, because I hardly ever go to Brownsville, and to know that you two are from Brownsville, like, we should do a podcast in Brownsville.
Yeah, I like that. That's fun.
Yes.
I love Brownsville. I feel like Brownsville is like, the university is its own like little entity. You don't feel like you're in the valley anymore. Like, it feels like, I don't know, when I get there, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I feel so fancy. Like, who am I? We should go do a podcast for sure.
Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about. This is really, this podcast went from talking about the like in-person office hours, but like, it's just more, this podcast is really just dedicated to like experiencing what it's like to be back on campus, the excitement that comes with it. In-person office hours is one thing, but like in-person orientations is another thing. Fall, like, hopefully everyone's vaccinated in time, and hopefully we can have more traditional face-to-face classes and have more faculty, students, and staff on campus again. And yeah, I'm excited. If any of you want to add any comment about the end of this podcast, go ahead. But I'm pretty good with what we have so far.
Jerry, I just want to congratulate you and Gerson for really just taking the podcast and making it your own, and Natasha coming on board later in the year, and you all just done a wonderful job. So you all have exceeded my expectations. Great job.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So great. I was talking to, this is like a side note, but I was talking to Natasha, Gerson, and Neidye last week about when we're having a podcast, and I was like, we all make it work, and like doing that, we don't really need a team lead for our like section. Like, we all like offer, each of us like contribute equally to making it what we want it to be. And I honestly do feel like the podcast is just like our baby. We're all fostering this one child. And I don't know, I'm really excited. Like, I think this is great. I'm excited for future episodes. Maybe we can do a podcast on the set of orientations, when orientations happen. Maybe interview some students. I don't know, just some ideas. Just some ideas. Like, ideas just flowing in my head. I need to start noting them down.
I love it. That would be so awesome.
But yeah, if any of y'all have any closing thoughts, remarks, or you're good?
No, but I want everybody to bring it in. Everybody, hands in.
We're like,
Yeah, alright, on count of three, we're gonna say FYE. Ready? 1, 2, 3, FYE!
Thanks for watching. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week with in-person orientations.
Bye.